Strongmen Mussolini to the Present by Ruth Ben-Ghiat is a compelling exploration of authoritarianism throughout the 20th and 21st centuries. The book traces the rise and rule of political strongmen, examining their methods of gaining and maintaining power, their cultural and societal impacts, and the ways their regimes ultimately shape history, with a focus on figures such as Benito Mussolini, Adolf Hitler, Augusto Pinochet, and contemporary leaders like Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Ben-Ghiat delivers a meticulously researched and thought-provoking account of authoritarian dynamics across time and geography. The genesis of authoritarianism. The book begins with a detailed study of Benito Mussolini, whose rise to power in Italy in the 1920s set the template for modern authoritarianism. Ben-Ghiat analyzes Mussolini's use of propaganda, violence, and charisma to consolidate control over the state and manipulate public sentiment. She draws parallels between Mussolini's techniques and those employed by other leaders, highlighting how the fascist model evolved and influenced subsequent regimes. The historical context provided by Ben-Ghiat is critical for understanding the allure of strongmen during times of crisis. Economic instability, social unrest, and fear often serve as the breeding grounds for authoritarian leaders. In Mussolini's case, post-World War I economic hardships and political chaos made Italy susceptible to his promises of stability and national revival. This theme of exploiting crisis recurs throughout the book, as Ben-Ghiat examines how leaders like Hitler and Pinochet used similar tactics to rise to power. The Playbook of Strongmen. A significant portion of the book is devoted to analyzing the playbook of strongmen, the strategies they use to gain, maintain, and justify their rule. Ben-Ghiat identifies several common techniques, including 1. Propaganda. Strongmen use propaganda to create a cult of personality and shape public perception. They present themselves as saviors, often exaggerating threats to the nation to justify their actions. Mussolini's control over Italian media and Hitler's use of mass rallies are early examples of this tactic. 2. Violence and intimidation. Many strongmen rely on violence to silence dissent and maintain power. The use of secret police, death squads, and other forms of state-sanctioned brutality is a hallmark of authoritarian regimes. For example, Augusto Pinochet's military junta in Chile employed widespread torture and repression to suppress opposition. 3. Undermining institutions. Strongmen often erode democratic institutions to consolidate power. They manipulate the judiciary, weaken legislative bodies, and suppress free press. Vladimir Putin's systematic dismantling of Russian democratic institutions is a contemporary example of this strategy. 4. Exploiting identity politics. Authoritarians frequently exploit divisions within society, such as race, religion, or ethnicity, to galvanize support and marginalize opponents. Ben-Ghiat explores how leaders like Trump leverage nationalism and xenophobia to rally their base. One of the most intriguing aspects of Ben-Ghiat's analysis is her exploration of the role of charisma and the cult of personality in authoritarian rule. Strongmen often cultivate an image of strength, decisiveness, and infallibility. They use their personal magnetism to build loyalty and project an aura of inevitability about their leadership. Ben-Ghiat delves into how leaders like Mussolini and Hitler meticulously crafted their public personas, using theatricality and symbolism to captivate their audiences. This tradition continues with contemporary strongmen, who leverage modern media to enhance their image. Social media platforms, for example, have become powerful tools for leaders like Trump and Bolsonaro to communicate directly with their supporters, bypassing traditional media outlets. A particularly striking element of the book is Ben-Ghiat's discussion of the relationship between authoritarianism and gender. She argues that strongmen often uphold and enforce traditional gender roles, portraying themselves as protectors of patriarchal values. Women are frequently depicted as symbols of national purity and domestic stability, while men are encouraged to adopt aggressive, militaristic identities. At the same time, Ben-Ghiat highlights how women play complex roles in authoritarian regimes. While they are often subjugated, they can also be instrumental in supporting and perpetuating these regimes. The author examines the roles of female propagandists, loyalists, and even victims who inadvertently contribute to the endurance of authoritarian systems. Resistance and the fall of strongmen. Ben-Ghiat emphasizes that strongmen are not invincible, and their regimes are often more fragile than they appear. Resistance, whether through organized movements or individual acts of defiance, plays a crucial role in challenging and eventually dismantling authoritarian rule. The book provides numerous examples of resistance, from the underground movements during World War II to the mass protests that led to the downfall of leaders like Pinochet and Marcos. The author also discusses the internal weaknesses of authoritarian regimes, such as corruption, inefficiency, and the overreach of power, which can lead to their eventual collapse. However, she warns that the fall of a strong man does not necessarily mean the end of authoritarian tendencies. The societal divisions and institutional damage left behind can linger for decades, creating fertile ground for future strongmen. The modern era of strongmen. In the final chapters, Ben-Ghiat examines the resurgence of authoritarianism in the modern era. She discusses how globalization, technological advancements, and social media have changed the landscape for strongmen. Leaders like Putin, Erdogan, and Trump have adapted the traditional playbook to suit contemporary circumstances, using digital tools to manipulate information, spread propaganda, and stoke division. Ben-Ghiat also explores the global consequences of authoritarianism, from the erosion of international norms to the destabilization of democratic societies. She warns that the appeal of strongmen remains potent, particularly in times of uncertainty, and emphasizes the need for vigilance in protecting democratic institutions. Lessons and reflections. Strongmen, Mussolini to the present, is not merely a historical account. It is a call to action. Ben-Ghiat urges readers to recognize the signs of authoritarianism and resist its encroachments. She emphasizes the importance of education, civic engagement, and the defense of democratic values in preventing the rise of future strongmen. The book is meticulously researched and richly detailed, drawing on a wide range of historical sources and contemporary examples. Ben-Ghiat's writing is accessible and engaging, making complex political concepts understandable for a general audience. Her insights into the psychology of authoritarian leaders and their followers are particularly illuminating, offering a deeper understanding of why these figures resonate with so many people. Ruth Ben-Ghiat's Strongmen, Mussolini to the Present is a timely and essential work that sheds light on one of the most pressing issues of our time, the persistence and evolution of authoritarianism. By examining the lives and legacies of strongmen across history, Ben-Ghiat provides valuable insights into the mechanisms of power, the vulnerabilities of democracy, and the enduring human struggle for freedom and justice. Whether you are a student of history, a political enthusiast, or a concerned citizen, this book offers a compelling and thought-provoking analysis of the forces that shape our world.